Hello, folks. Hopefully by the end of this video, I don't look like this. I have been sick for the past 3 days, and today is the first day that I have any kind of energy. So I thought we would use some of this time and energy to tell you the whole story behind this Jonathan Roumie chosen Jesus air freshener, meeting Jonathan, and all the crazy things that have happened because of it. But I thought it would be fun to make it like a little chit chat, get ready with me too. So I'm gonna put on some makeup while I tell you this story. Also, if this is the first time you're seeing my face, hi. My name is Kanan. I am 22 years old and I'm an aspiring Christian music artist. Also just love telling a good story, and to me this is an amazing testimony of God just being awesome. There's so many backstories. The first little backstory is that I am a huge OG Chosen fan. I've been watching The Chosen since 2020. And it was around that time that I met one of my dear friends, Isabella. So for Christmas of 2021, she got me a gift. It was an air freshener with Jonathan Roumie's face on it, just as a silly little joke. And to this day, it's still one of the best gifts that I've ever gotten. Fast forward to March of 2024. All the way through the end of 2023 and then all of 2024, I had been praying to the Lord for some specific things, for Him to open up some doors and move in ways that I just can't on my own. And this one specific day in March, I just remembered I had very, very little faith. So at the end of the day, I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, I would love it if you would pray over me." So by her bed, she prays for me. She asked the Lord to show me something very specific, that right where I'm at, God sees me and He is working in my life. And I'm sitting there receiving this prayer like, yes, Lord, bring it on. So about a month passes and I'm much better at this point. So I was brainstorming content ideas. This was actually the day of the solar eclipse that we had last year. I was going in the car to get solar eclipse glasses. I didn't find any because they're all sold out and the eclipse was in like 20 minutes. I've always been very good at parodies. Like when I was in school, if we had a project and there had to be any kind of creative element, I would always go the parody route and songwriting route. And I look up at my Jonathan Roumie air freshener and it hits me of that song that's like, "I don't care if it rains or freezes as long as I got a plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. Going 90, it ain't scary as long as I got the Virgin Mary sitting on the dashboard of my car." It's something like that. And I just want to preface, that's all I've ever heard of that song. I heard that off of TikTok. I was thinking, well, I could make a parody to that with my Jonathan Roumie thing. From my house to the 5-star gas station, I'm brainstorming a parody of that song to my chosen Jesus air freshener. And I get to the 5-star and it hits me. And so I make my little video.
I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my chosen Jesus hanging from the rear view of my car. Going 90 is nothing to me, as long as I've got Jonathan Roumie hanging from the rear view of my car.
I just hit post. And a handful of people see it, but like my success with Reels has not really been fantastic. And so it was like, okay, well, it made a couple of my friends laugh. No big deal. You try things, move on. But then, a few days later, something crazy happens. And I have a really bad habit of staying up late scrolling on TikTok. I need to get to bed. I need to get to sleep. Well, let me check Instagram first. Like something's gonna be different on Instagram. Well, for the first time, it was. I had tons and tons of notifications and comments coming in on my Jonathan Roumie video. And for those of you that aren't really into posting, it's very rare for your video to be picked up days after you post something. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it's weird. Why are people just now looking at my video? Because Jonathan Roumie saw it. A couple of people had tagged him in it, but I figure with a following like Jonathan has, it takes a lot for him to notice something. So I don't really know how he picked up on it. I remember he commented, "Oh wow." But not only did he comment on it, he posted it to his Instagram story. And at the time, Jonathan had like 1.2 million Instagram followers. So I'm getting notifications from people all over the world. I'm freaking out, and I remember I replied to him and I was like, "Not too shabby?" And he was like, "Not too shabby indeed." It was so crazy, but it was really cool because a lot of people started listening to some of my other stuff from it. But I also understood that with the internet, just as quick as something rises, it will fall. And so I was just along for the ride, enjoying seeing people's comments, and happy that I could make people laugh. And I did get a handful of comments that did not love the video, but majority of the people that saw it got it. That it was just a lighthearted thing, it was a parody of a song, and that it wasn't anything crazy. Well, not long after that, The Chosen comments on my video, which is so cool. And then they DM me asking if they can use my video on their socials. And I'm like, yes! I mean, they have ministered to me so much. And if I could be a part of anything that they do in some small way, I'm gonna do it. So I said, absolutely, go for it. In fact, oh my gosh, God, you're awesome. Okay, we have to do another flashback. So I have been involved in theater and acting, and I don't get to stretch those legs a lot anymore, but I remembered when The Chosen came out. The show has given me so much hope for what the Lord could do in my life and with my creativity, and it's all in His hands. And I remembered when the show came out, I was just praying to the Lord, and I'm like, if there is any way, Lord, that I could impact these people the way that they've impacted my life, that would be amazing. I would do whatever it is. And so just thinking about that now, I mean, obviously, I don't think that anybody has come to the Lord because of my video. In fact, I think it has stirred up some controversy. But to know that the people that have made something that is so beloved to me could smile and laugh, that just means the world to me, and I praise God for that. So anyway, The Chosen asks if they can use my video in their social medias, and they don't post anything like the next day. They didn't post anything for a long time, actually. But I thought, okay, it's just something that they're going to have in their back pocket. Good for them. Well, a few days go by, and I remember all of this is happening while they're filming season 5, which is about to come out in April. Around this time, like, my video is still getting seen by a lot of people, but it's definitely not as huge as it was a few days prior. Jonathan makes a video saying that he's gonna go live. And in my head, I'm thinking, sometimes on live streams, they let their fans be on there as guests. And I thought to myself, wouldn't that be so cool if, after all of this, I could talk to Jonathan? But I'm not that lucky. There's no way that's gonna happen. I am a Delulu girl, so I will hope for that kind of stuff to happen all the time. Is it delusion, or is it just hope? Is it just belief that God can do crazy things? We'll think on that. The day finally comes of his live stream, and my mom and I had been really busy that day, and she asked me to go pick up Chick-fil-A for dinner. Well, I'll just set up his live stream and listen to it while I'm in line at Chick-fil-A. And so I'm sitting there listening to it, and he doesn't have it open for guests anyway. And so I'm like, okay, well, we can squash that. And I'm in the receiving line for your food. And he's like, okay, we're gonna open it up to people now. I'm just gonna pick somebody random. And I remember thinking, well, he's not gonna pick me. And so it doesn't matter that I'm in my car and I'm driving. But let's not limit ourselves here. I'll just hit the button to request myself. And so he's scrolling through people's names, and I'm like, well, he would have passed mine by now. I get my food, I'm pulling out of the Chick-fil-A, and he goes, I'm just gonna pick a random name. Let's go with this. And my phone goes, you are being connected to Jonathan Roumie's live stream. My face did like a... And there he is, talking to me. And he's telling me, he's like, oh my gosh, are you driving? I need you to pull over. And he's like, they're telling me, please pull over. And so I get to a safe place, and I pull over. And we had like a 10-minute conversation, which I feel bad about now, because I looked back at the video, and he's like, let's keep our questions short and keep it moving on. But, oh my gosh, hang on. And I go like this, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm that girl that did the I don't care if it rains or freezes as long as I got my chosen Jesus video. And he's like, Hanan, I didn't even pick you because I recognized your name. I just picked a random person. Mind you, this is the first person he picks. So we talk, and I get to tell him that whole story and what the show has meant to me and what his obedience to the Lord has meant to me. And it was just an amazing thing. And we get done, and I'm like, okay, bye, Jonathan. Super calm, super calm. And then just all of that adrenaline hits me. I get home with the Chick-fil-A bags in my hands, go downstairs to my parents, and I'm like, I just met Jonathan Roumie. Like, we talked. And my mom goes, at Chick-fil-A? No. So I explained to them everything that happened, and it's just insane. And I didn't put it together then, but it was something so specific that only the Lord could orchestrate to let me know that I am seen by him. Not because I believe that Jonathan is Jesus. I get a lot of comments saying, he's not the real Jesus, he's not the real Jesus. Yeah, I know that. He's Jonathan. He's just a dude. But the Lord knows how important that show is to me, and what Dallas and Jonathan and everybody at The Chosen, their obedience to the Lord has done for my life and how it's impacted my life. It was just like God saying, I'm doing this just because I love you, Kanan, just because you're my kid. And I know these people. In fact, the show is about me, and so let me do this for you. A few weeks or a couple of months after all of that happened, The Chosen starts posting my video on their social medias. Posted it to like Facebook. Some of their international social medias have posted it. They've posted it on Threads, things like that. And I get a lot of people commenting, saying that it's funny or complimenting me on my voice, which is super encouraging. Thank y'all if you're here from that. I also get a lot of negative comments and a lot of inaccurate comments. And so I just want to clear some things up right now lovingly. First, I did not make that air freshener. As we established earlier, my friend bought that for me off of Etsy. I think it's some shop where you bring a picture and they make the air freshener for you, and that's how she got it to be like this certain smell and everything like that. Second of all, it is not a rosary. I am not Catholic, but I would never disrespect the Catholic faith or values by acting like that's a rosary. It's a car air freshener. Next thing, my little parody that I made up is not a worship song, nor is it me trying to worship Jonathan or Jesus from The Chosen. It is simply a comedic parody to a song. Of course, there are people, no matter what I say, they will see it as me worshiping Chosen Jesus or Jonathan or the show or something else. I don't know what else to tell you besides I don't worship anybody but the real Jesus. But I don't want to whine about the negative comments because it's been a blessing to some people. It's made people laugh. It's filled people with joy. And if The Chosen is okay with me having it and is sharing it out to other people, then I don't think I have much to worry about. If it doesn't make them uncomfortable, I'm not going to worry about what somebody behind a screen is saying. The positive comments that I get on that video outweigh the negative comments by a million. The only ones that really bother me are when people say that I'm like not a true Christian and I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing, cause like, ow. But respectfully, you don't know my walk with the Lord. But just to clarify, the great thing about all of this is not that I got hundreds of thousands of views, or thousands of likes, or got shared by my favorite TV show, or got to speak with one of my favorite actors. All of that is great and cool and fun and a good story to tell. But that's not the best part of it. The best part is that I have a loving Father, and He ultimately knows what to do with our every thought and our every care. To think that this was just out of God's goodness and His love for me is insane. I love Jesus so much, and I want to live the rest of my life to serve Him and to follow Him and to tell other people about Him. And sometimes we get very wrapped up in what we don't have or what we're not doing for the Lord or how the Lord may even be disappointed in us, and that is a lie from the enemy. And so it was just so cool for God to show me that I am seen and loved by Him. Honestly, it was one of the best things to happen to me all year long. And again, not because of the things that come with being a fangirl of my favorite show, but because God just loves me so much. And He just did a nice thing for His kid. And every time here lately that I've been feeling down, or I kind of get in that same spiral of what's going to happen, and God, do you even see me? They end up posting it again, which I just take as a little nudge from the Lord that's like, hey, I see you, trust me. And so maybe wherever you are right now, you don't feel seen by the Lord. Maybe you're wondering if He even cares. Let me tell you right now that God does care. And I don't know what He's doing in your life. I don't know how He's going to show you that besides what He has done in His Word and the work that was already finished on the cross. But He does see you. He does love you. He does care about you, and I hope that you can take that from my story. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I get a lot of questions about this whole scenario and everything that has transpired in the past year because of an air freshener, and I hope that answered some questions. If you want to stick around and hear more about what God's doing in my life, the songs that I'm writing, and what hopefully comes out of music and other things that the Lord is going to use, feel free to subscribe and follow me on my other social medias.